Hi. So I am back from Seattle, maybe for good. Maybe I won't need to make a trip down there for the rest of the summer. So progress in the garden. May was rainy and cold. I think there might have been just a handful of dry days. And it is the beginning of June, and temperatures at night are in the 40s Fahrenheit and maybe get up into the 50s just barely during the day. So I think it's going to be one of those really rainy, cold summers where we just don't get very much sun. But maybe not. Maybe we'll get lucky. Anyway, so let's take a look what we got going on here. So I came back to find out my potato patch here. I gotten trampled. Looked like some dog prints, maybe chasing deer. So we've got some tears, but I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about like pests getting in. I just did this to keep the deer out. What do we got here? Finally, potatoes are coming up along with all the weeds. Potatoes, which is super cool. And cover cropping over there, peas and oats. So today I wanted to get another bed of baby greens and lettuce planted over here, seeded with the Jang-seeder. So it might be dry enough to do that. I would need to put down some potting soil and then run the Jang through there. Everything is up out here. So, the sugar snap peas are already up, but now these 3 beds of carrots are up from my little checking in the past few days. Bed of kale, that's been up, and chard and collard greens. And in this bed at the far end, I wanted to plant my green onion starts that I have, sitting here in this greenhouse. And then in both these greenhouses, I need to get the irrigation set up and plant my basil. The basil is ready to plant out. It's been done, had been ready to plant out. But I need to get my new irrigation set up, at least in this one greenhouse over here. I may run the old irrigation in this other greenhouse that's eventually going to go away. And then I need to get that irrigation set up for the area over here where I have the lettuce and baby greens, because that's where the tunnel's going to go. Before and after. So the biomulch has been on here for quite a long time, and it's killed most everything off except for where there were like deer hoof prints and like there were things sprouting up from there. So I had a horsetail problem in the back of this bed, so I just did the same thing in the back of this bed where I just folded the biomulch over a couple times, and I'll just leave that there. And I've got my potting soil that I was going to use for transplants in the spring, but since I changed that program, I'm just going to spread that out. It's just the exact same thing I did in this bed, which is in a previous video. Oakley dokley. So I Jang-seeded 6 rows. In this bed, I did 5 because I'm just so used to it. It's just so easy to do one outer pass, another outer pass, do the center, and then you can just do one in between each of those, and it just makes it so simple. But with the irrigation, I'm thinking about maybe running 2 lines down, so I need to kind of think about that. So I did 6 in here, and in this time I did 2 rows of spinach, and I just started with the spinach, went there and went back. And then what I did was I went with 3 rows of lettuce, and I just gave myself space to do 1 row over here of Mizuna. So I just ran the row here, ran the row here, and then ran 1 in between it. Tomorrow may be dryish, and then I think we're supposed to get rain again. So I don't know what to do this afternoon. I kind of like to maybe weed some things out here. Over here in my pea beds and my carrot beds, taking a look at my rotten carrot bed where I seeded peas, and they are getting eaten by slugs. Like there's just not very many surviving, whereas this bed doing better. So normally what I do is I undersow clover and the slugs like that. But these beds were really weedy, so I wanted to wait. I thought, oh, I'll just wait for some sunny days and then I'll weed a couple times and then get those completely knocked back, so then I can seed some clover and then I won't have, you know, weed pressure amongst the clover. But anyway, we haven't had any sunny days. So this bed I may just completely redo. But this one I think that maybe I can go ahead and weed it, maybe sow some clover, and maybe put up a trellis. I don't know. And then taking a look at these beds down here of my carrots, like, okay, so look, here's a carrot, nothing. Oh, but this carrot looks like it's just coming up, right? So just like nothing. So maybe they're just still germinating. One thing is the biomulch did seem to really suppress those weeds, so I'm not having any problems except for, you know, this horsetail. So that's good. Otherwise I'd be in real trouble. I think I'm going to keep these covered because that'll just add warmth. Okay, over here, got the baby greens, chard coming up. I am just amazed at how small everything is. It just must be this cold weather. Kale over here. Oh, you know. Yep, bird doodle. I need to get in here and weed between these rows before it gets worse. But yeah, I think that's that's all for today. There's my starts. I had a friend watering while I was gone. Did a good job. Then I came back and neglected them, so the bok choy is they're surviving. Parsley needs to be thinned. These green onions could go out now. My robin friend is hanging out with me. Oh geez, I think he's got some sort of growth on his belly or something. I don't know what that's all about. Show you lickers. Weeding. Okay, dudes, so I made a little bit of progress on this nice dry day. Let's take a look. This bed was super weedy in addition to having no peas in it, so I just hoed all through it, and I think I'm gonna cover it in biomulch. And then I've got a little row of peas here. I just weeded around those guys, and I think I might wait for a sunny week and then maybe seed some clover in there, put up a trellis. Okie dokie. Kale, this is a weedy bed, so I tried to weed through there. Look at the collard greens at the end. They're doing pretty good. And then little tiny chards. Little tiny chards. And at the end of this bed, I got the green onions in, and I think what I'm gonna do is direct seed some green onion sets in the far end there. Oakley dokley. Row cover on the two greens beds. Hand seeded some green onion sets there, covered them up so bird won't get to them. Biomulch on my weedy bed. Oakley dokley. So the next couple days, I'm going to be working in the two greenhouses, getting irrigation going for the basil, which is way too big and needs to go out right now. Well, they got the weather forecast completely wrong. It's not raining. The sun popped out. Taking a look inside greenhouse. I'm going to dress first. I've got this orach on this side. I think I'll leave the stuff at the end here, but I need to get all of this out of here. Okay, folks. So the rain did finally come, and it just poured and poured and poured and poured yesterday. But now we've got sun breaks and overcast today, so I am planting basil in the greenhouses. Oakley dokley folklies. I've got my basil here. Some of these guys are way bigger than I normally plant them. Oh my gosh. And the roots are all like tied together. Yes. So I've got the drip going because I'm trying to get this super dry soil wetted. And I think I'm going to pour some water in the hole as I'm planting too. So that's the plan, Stan. Okay, folks, so both beds planted in basil. What I did for bed prep was, if you remember, there's seaweed in the pathway. I moved it all onto this one bed over here. Well, before I planted, I moved part of the seaweed over onto this bed to get them some nutrients too. Well, as I was planting, I noticed that there's a whole lot more seaweed still on this side than this side, so we'll see how each grows compared to each other. And taking a look at my little deer friends out here that just showed up, walking all over my biomulch out there. They're both little deers. Buddy. Now he's scratching around. Buddy. Come on now. No, no, no. Don't scratch around on my stuff. Silly. No scratching around on my stuff, okay? No scratching. No scratching, silly. Okay? He's not even scared at all. Oh, he's got little horns coming in. Oh, they itch too, don't they? They've just ripped it into bits. Oh, silly, silly, what are you doing? Okay. Into this next greenhouse. And what I need to do here first is get out all these ferns that are flourishing. And, pull the old drip out here. Oh my goodness. And I think I'm going to use this header, modify it, run new drip line, because this is 1 foot spacing and the new stuff is 8-inch spacing. So I need to get that set up. I think my bok choy is already bolting to seed. Can you see it? It's making flowers. So I think this isn't gonna make it. It's been sitting here too long. Parsley still needs to be thinned. Okay, anyway, first things first. I'm pulling ferns. Guess who I found? Little toad friend. Oh boy. Okay, so in the other greenhouse I have 4 drip lines, and that's been kind of annoying because then I have to plant kind of close to the edges where it kind of dries out a little bit. So I thought about doing 3. That's kind of how I designed the new irrigation. So to 6, then say I plant on 7, move this back an inch, plant on 15, back an inch, plant on 23. Okay, so I'm cutting this length of hose at 5 1/4 inches. Okay, so this one's done. This one's done. I've got the new 8-inch spacing drip line going. And yeah, we'll see how I like that. All I've got left to do is close off the ends of these things, and then I can transplant, but it's getting too late, so I'm gonna have to transplant tomorrow. But almost done. Oakley dokley. Planted. So these guys were a lot more kind of yellowish and sad looking. Maybe because they didn't have quite as many lights up at the house. So anyway, yeah, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this bok choy, since I think he's kind of just gonna go to flower. But I got my parsley thinned. Normally I would be selling this week, but obviously I'm not. So weird season. Yeah, maybe next week I'll talk about my new shiny irrigation and all the plans I put together and why I bought what I bought and stuff. And we'll see. See you guys next week. It's a, I don't know, what do you call them? The red-breasted sapsucker or something? What's he doing so close?